Welcome, friends of the Greasy Shop Rag. Today we're going to take a look at building a tool. It's going to be for pulling clutch drums. Now when you have an inboard clutch, sometimes you can't physically remove the drum because there's debris buildup in here or whatever, maybe a bad bearing. And usually you got to clamp something on here or pliers and try and pull it off of there. I thought, well, wouldn't it be nice to have a dedicated tool for doing that for any style clutch drum? And what I came up with was, well, I didn't come up with it yet. I started on it though. What I want to make is a tool that is going to be a vice grip slide hammer. And before you go saying, yeah, they make them things already. Yeah, I know. But they're pretty big. In fact, here's one right here. When I told the boss about my idea, he listened. I told him I was going to make one for myself. And then a couple days later, this showed up. So he must have went online and bought it. But basically, with this style, this is part of the reason why. Well, let me show you what I'm doing. This is part of the reason why I don't want this style, because I don't want to have to put this all together every time. That goes on there. That goes on there. I'm not going to tighten it up, but you get the idea. You can clamp the vice grips on something and use it as a slide hammer. Well, this is all pretty involved. If I want to just grab a tool and pop the drum off. My goal is always to be efficient. And I don't think putting this tool together is efficient. Now that doesn't mean this isn't a worthwhile tool. A lot of good applications, I'm sure, for a tool like this. But we're going to make one that I think might work out a little bit better. So the challenge is, how do you grab this thing? Well, I've been thinking about, you can't just clamp this on there. Ain't going to work. But what might work is if you had a nut with these sharp edges, and actually mark these where I'm going to cut it. So I'll have a third of a nut that will be welded to this clamp on this side, and a third of that nut welded on this side, and then I'll clamp that down. The idea being we're going to hold this in a straight line here, and this is our weight for our slide hammer, 2-inch ball, right? And don't tell me, oh, you wasted a 2-inch ball. I mean, I had a whole bunch of these things sitting around at home. How many do I need? I got one truck. I got a straight hitch. I got a drop hitch. I got 2-inch hitches, 7/8, 2 5 6. It was an extra ball. I needed a weight. That's what I'm doing. This is a plowing part I got from Ace Hardware. This is a long bolt. This is the same long bolt with a big nut welded on the end. The idea behind the big nut is that it's a stop for the ball, for the weight. And it also allows me to make adjustments here now. This would have been kind of hard to do. All right. So you can see I can adjust my, and the idea is this is going to pull the drum off. All right. The next step is going to be cutting this nut into the sizes that I want to use. So I'm going to do that right now. All right. So I cut the nut into thirds. By the way, this is a wonderful tool. If you don't have one, I don't know what you're waiting for. All right. Now my thought was that this is going to be here, and this is going to be here. And they're going to get welded to this pliers. But I have to figure out, because I want this to be a straight line right here, a straight pull. That means if this rod is the center line of this drum, where does that put this weight, or weight, this grabby piece? I mean, not sure. I'm half tempted to just cut this thing right alongside this rivet here on an angle of, following this line. I mean, that's not terrible. Now this one's going to come down. Problem is, the 90-degree angle right here, you can see that this jaw is farther down than this jaw, which means I'm probably going to have to weld this piece up in here and this one up in here. This next cut, I guess, is going to be the important one. But I didn't make the cut yet. But I did take the pad off of there. I'm going to give this a cut. Well, the nice thing about these projects is you can't really screw up. If you do something you don't know if it's the right thing to do, you just make an adjustment and do something different. Yeah, we're getting close. I'm going to take a little bit out of there. That is not bad. I think we're going to the welding booth. I might have to add some threads to this. Yeah. Add some threads to this. Alright, I added some thread to it. Okay, there you go, it's done. Now some of you are thinking, well, what's done? What is it? Alright, let's take a look at that. One each generic steel chainsaw. Oh! She's a beaut, Clark. Wow, that one's not going to have a problem coming off of there. But I can show you what I'm doing. First, let's get this snap ring off here. That washer, that rim drive. Now, sometimes there's a problem where this drum won't come off, right? And you got to fight it. So what this tool is going to do is we're going to be able to clamp that on there, right? And then drive it off. That's the idea. So that's all I'm going to have for you on the homemade drum puller. Thanks for watching. Later.